A Mortal's Journey to Immortality episode 259. In the previous episode, tensions were running high after the meeting between the major cultivators, while the powerful Devil Concord secretly summoned his junior for a private conversation. The others remained behind to discuss the wagered battles against the Moulan. Master Sunreach tried to persuade both Han Li and a cold, aloof woman named Bai to join the deadly contest, promising rare treasures in return. Bai initially showed no interest in the war, but when Master Sunreach revealed a pair of icy cocoons, the rare Monarch Icefrost Silkworms, her attitude changed. The chilling aura from the jade box alone froze the room, proving their authenticity, though the silkworms were still in cocoons. Their exceptional quality was enough to satisfy her, and she agreed to take part in the upcoming battles. Once she left, the discussion turned to Han Li. He expressed his need for a large amount of auric essence, far more than most cultivators would ever require. Amused yet curious, Master Sunreach and wuxia presented several radiant golden chunks of the precious material. Han Li inspected them with calm precision but couldn't hide his hunger for more. Still, he decided the amount would suffice and offered 2 jade boxes in exchange. Inside were materials from grade 8 demon beasts, crimson scales from a venomous flood dragon and a black tortoise shell. The revelation shocked both men. wuxia, whose cultivation focused on venomous arts, could barely contain his delight at the dragon scales. Master Sunreach, though impressed, remained skeptical, although he felt that Han Li's words weren't false. The sword-bearing Taoist found it hard to believe that an early nascent soul cultivator was able to acquire grade 8 demon beast materials. He naturally had to determine whether or not the tortoise shell was genuine. And episode 259 is starting. Just as Han Li pondered, he heard a long sigh from wuxia. wuxia quickly put away a jade box in a flash of light and, with a sense of satisfaction, exclaimed that it was indeed the scales of a metamorphosed venomous flood dragon. He explained that these scales were perfectly suited for him, giving him the hope that his magic treasure could ascend to an entirely new level. Then, raising his head, wuxia gave Han Li a careful, appraising look and admitted that he was truly surprised by Han Li's ability to produce such rare and valuable treasures. He continued, saying that although their interaction had primarily been a trade to acquire what they needed, Han Li was still required to participate in the wagered battle on behalf of the Heavenly South. To balance things fairly, wuxia offered Han Li a piece of auric essence. Originally, he had intended it for his descendants, but seeing Han Li's need, he chose to give it to him instead, tossing an egg-sized piece of auric essence in Han Li's direction. This additional auric essence meant Han Li would have more than enough to temper the 36 flying swords he possessed. His immediate goal of acquiring rare materials was fully achieved. From wuxia's perspective, the grade 8 demon materials he had traded were slightly more valuable than the auric essence, so offering this compensation was reasonable. Yet, the generosity was not without subtle calculation. As a nascent soul cultivator, Han Li could theoretically accept the auric essence and leave without fulfilling his obligation in the wagered battle. But if this were a simple trade, there would be little anyone could do to prevent it. Meanwhile, Master Sunreach finished appraising the item in front of him and showed a slight smile, clearly satisfied with the tortoise shell. Yet, when he saw wuxia hand Han Li the auric essence, he hesitated briefly before presenting a small, 6-inch-long yellow rootstock, thick as a thumb. With solemnity, he explained that from the abundant wood attributed spiritual energy in Han Li's body. It was evident that his primary cultivation art was wood-aligned. Although he had nothing ideal to offer, he presented this rootstock from an ancient rattan palm, noting that it could be used to refine a magic tool or nourish Han Li's wood-attributed spiritual energy. He emphasized that this should sufficiently compensate for the grade 8 demon tortoise shell. wuxia's eyes widened in astonishment when he recognized the item. Han Li, initially disappointed, quickly noticed wuxia's reaction and grew curious himself. The item was a rootstock from the legendary profound goddess palm. From what he had learned in ancient records, Han Li realized why both the righteous and Devil Dao had attempted to resurrect it using the spirit root tree's wine nectar. The profound goddess palm was unlike ordinary immortal rattan palms. Only a rare few were considered profound, originating in ancient times, with flowers or fruits possessing miraculous, heaven-defying effects. Unfortunately, all attempts to resurrect it had failed, leaving only husks that seemed ordinary. Without records in the ancient cultivator's burial site, one would assume the palm was merely an unremarkable rattan root. Initially, the palm's root was treated as a precious treasure. Both the righteous and Devil Dao had contested it fiercely. Eventually, after realizing that resurrection was impossible, they divided the remaining stalks and branches between themselves. Master Sunreach had received his portion as tribute, while Wei Wuya recognized the rootstock because he had obtained a small section in prior trades. Han Li realized that, for Master Sunreach, the rootstock no longer held high practical value. It was merely a top-grade material, unsuitable for his own cultivation arts, and thus given freely to Han Li. Although he initially wished for auric essence instead, Han Li understood the situation. He decided to take the ancient treasure, planning to experiment with a small green bottle in his possession upon returning to his cave residence. Hoping to mature the rattan palm, though the chances of success were slim, the potential payoff would be tremendous. Han Li compared it to the rare divine trees he had previously acquired, the golden lightning bamboo, the soul nurturing tree, and the spirit well tree. Before any further discussion could occur, Han Li tactfully accepted the auric essence and rootstock, stating that he would participate in the wagered battles in 7 days and needed to return to prepare for the impending war. Master Sunreach smiled and acknowledged Han Li's impatience, noting that it was only natural to prepare for such an important conflict, and did not keep him longer. As Han Li began to leave, Wei Wuya, with a peculiar expression, sent a series of voice transmissions, declaring that he would overlook Han Li taking Fairy Nangong, as it was not meant to be between her and Wei Wuya's nephew. Hearing this, Han Li's spirits lifted, and he quickly exited without looking back. After Han Li disappeared, Master Sunreach and Wei Wuya exchanged silent glances, pondering the young cultivator's abilities. Master Sunreach expressed amazement at Han Li's possession of grade 8 demon beast materials, wondering if he had obtained the complete legacy of an ancient cultivator during his time away. Wei Wuya wryly commented that others might have inherited ancient treasures as well, but it was an enviable opportunity nonetheless. Finally, Master Sunreach chuckled and shook his head, saying, "Kill him? Brother Wei can sure tell a joke, let alone during a time of war. This can't be done during peacetime either. Based solely on his ability to escape a Moulan divine sage, I'd be stirring up trouble without reaping any gains. Besides, his treasures may be precious, but would they allow me to break through to deity transformation stage? Besides, the Heavenly Dao Union and those pair cultivators aren't easily trifled with." And that wraps up this episode. In this part, we saw Han Li skillfully manage a very delicate situation with Wei Wuya and Master Sunreach. He successfully obtained the rare auric essence he needed to continue refining his flying swords. But he also received an extraordinary treasure, the rootstock of the profound goddess palm. Although at first it might have seemed like a simple piece of ancient rattan, Han Li quickly realized its true significance, as it is part of a legendary plant whose fruits and flowers are said to possess unimaginable, heaven-defying powers. This episode really highlights Han Li's cleverness, patience, and strategic thinking. Rather than acting impulsively, he carefully considered what he truly needed, rare materials and auric essence, and made choices that maximized his gains without unnecessary risks. We also get a sense of the wider world around him, the intense competition for ancient treasures, the subtle power plays among cultivators, and the respect, and even cautious envy, that someone like Han Li inspires among other powerful figures. Furthermore, this part shows us that even small or seemingly ordinary items can hold enormous hidden potential, depending on how they're used. Han Li's insight into the profound goddess palm and his plan to experiment with it using his mysterious green bottle reflects his intelligence and resourcefulness. It also gives us a glimpse of the exciting possibilities that lie ahead in his journey. If you enjoyed this episode or found it fascinating, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel to get notifications for the latest episodes of Han Li's adventure. Thank you so much for watching. And I can't wait to see you again in the next videos.